What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another Stay Hot film review. I'm Blaiden, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And today we're taking a look at the Green Bay Packers, one and only Edgerrin Cooper. This is Theo's guy through and through, Theo's team through and through. So I'm going to hand it off to him to start things off here. I know he has some stats, so take it away, Theo Ash.
I'm about to say he's better than Fred Warner. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just kidding. Yes, Edgerrin Cooper, the Packers linebacker. And the first thing I wanted to show was some statistics about the Packers run game this year, which was good for really the first time in my life, maybe. They were one of 7 teams to allow less than 100 rushing yards per game, 99.4. They just snuck in under that mark. And then they had the third lowest yards per attempt allowed number in the league last year as well. So actually good results against the run last season for Green Bay. They were top 10 in EPA per play against the run and success rate against the run as well. And then here are some of our defensive players and what they did against the run last season. As you can see, Edgerrin Cooper made 35 tackles short of a first down in just 182 run snaps. So that's a rate of 19.2%. That's 4% higher than Gary, our next best run defender, way higher than the rest of the linebacking core. He had 17 tackles for loss, which led the team, even though he was a rookie. And as you can see, played less snaps than a lot of the other starters. So this guy is a real havoc creator in the run game and a huge reason why that aspect of the team was so successful last season.
I absolutely believe those stats, Theo, watching some of the other Green Bay linebackers on tape.
Look, hey, we don't need to tear them others down. We can just prop up Edgerrin Cooper. But here are some of those run plays that made him so successful. This is probably my favorite one of the year. It happened in the wild card round against Philly. And the thing that stands out the most to me about him is his sideline to sideline speed, which you see here, but also just how smart he is overall. I mean, he's going to read his guard here. That guy pulls, and he's got to get out to the perimeter. But he doesn't just fly out there. He takes a beat to kind of hide behind Lucas Van Ness and Dallas Goedert engaged in a block. See how he kind of holds up there for a second? And then Cam Jurgens ends up running right by him. Jurgens is supposed to block him, but Cooper hides from him behind those two and then has the closing speed to get to Saquon Barkley. And if he didn't tackle Saquon Barkley, I don't know what would have happened because Brown and Jurgens get to the safety and Dickerson absolutely clears out the corner who's the widest guy. If Cooper couldn't get there or if he didn't make this shoestring tackle, I mean, Saquon may have housed this.
Yeah, I think Cooper's interesting because he's a great run defender. And I also think sometimes he kind of freestyles or kind of takes a little bit of a risk and it typically works out for him. Like here, for instance, let's say you hide behind Goddard and then you don't end up making the play, right? Then not only did you not make the play, but you could have just taken on Jurgens, maybe not been the guy to make the tackle, but at least put a hat on a hat, I guess, the other way around and freed up somebody further down the field. By hiding here and saying, Jurgens, you go free and I'm going to be able to explode out and make the tackle, you put all the pressure on yourself to bring down, I think, the best running back in the NFL. And he did just that. I saw a lot of plays where, he's shooting holes or making quick decisions. And I feel like just because he's so explosive getting downhill and he can make really difficult tackles, it often ends up working out for him.
Here's another one where he's going to get to the perimeter. The guy who's going to try to block him is Garrett Bradbury, but you see the speed for him just beating Bradbury to the spot. He can barely lay a hand on him, and Cooper's going to make the tackle out on the perimeter. It's kind of the same thing for Eric Wilson, the weak side linebacker here. He's going to face a similar block from a similar spot, right? He's in the B gap, Wilson is, and then O'Neal is behind him. Cooper is in the A gap. Bradbury is behind him. So they're both kind of facing the same thing here. And you see the speed difference between the two of them where one gets caught up and then the other just completely speeds past one of the best second level reachers in the league in Bradbury. He's not a very good pass protector, but he is really good at that. And he's just got really no chance to get any kind of impact on Cooper. Cooper is able to survive the fabled Aaron Jones stiff arm, which is a very dangerous move, let me tell you.
Wow.
But he still gets down around his legs and is able to gator roll and tackle him. So this one's a bit more north and south. Once again, he's going to read his guard, see the base block, and then get into the A gap. You see that window for him between the guard and the center right there. He's going to really press that, and he's going to force the running back to cut back, and then he's going to fall back and make the tackle in the other gap. So this is how a linebacker can two gap for you. You hear it a lot of times in the context of defensive tackles being able to play both sides of a block, but this is Cooper covering a lot of ground, forcing a cutback, and then being able to redirect and get back there. Now, this
change of direction is unbelievable.
It's nasty.
Yeah, it is. Whenever he has to fall back, it's a serious problem for the offense. Here's another good play where it looks like it's going to be a pass play for Williams. Cooper doesn't really drop too far, though, and then it ends up being a running play that he triggers downhill on. And he reads Kenny Clark here, and this is my favorite part of the play. Kenny Clark falls inside. He's going to close up that gap, and immediately you see Cooper changing directions. He has vision like the running back. He sees what the running back sees and is cutting back with the running back, so he's able to get out to the perimeter and make another tackle. This one is crazy. I don't know how he knew to get to the spot so fast here. This looks like tackle trap, where they leave Van Ness unblocked to begin with. Yeah. And then here comes Trevor Penning to come hit him. But there's no opening there because Cooper just has big vision. He reads the path of the running back and kind of the tackle at the same time. He just gets a full picture of what's going on. Like when you're driving, you're not only looking at the car in front of you, but you're looking at kind of the road signs and what's going on even past that. That's Cooper here, where he's able to see the whole thing developing, even though his guard isn't pulling or even down blocking. He's really base blocking, like it could be duo or something, which typically I would expect the linebacker to try to trigger downhill here. But he's able to read this whole thing out, kind of get to the puller's spot there, beat the left guard trying to reach him, stays square, rocks back, and helps get in on the tackle. I don't know how he knew to get over there so fast. I guess just good film study, knowing what play might be coming.
Mm-hmm.
I like your highway analysis, Theo. I think that's a good comparison.
And then, Matt, this is my favorite change of direction play from him. Right? Base blocking, more of a duo block like we saw last time, actually. Watch 51 and the block that he makes. It's kind of straight ahead, right? And maybe it's Devontae Wyatt kind of pinches inside here, and maybe that's why Cooper felt so free going to the other side. But that base block typically means trigger downhill, I think. And then you see kind of the same thing here from the guard and the center, base blocking kind of going straight ahead. And sure enough, Cooper's going to start to hop downhill, right, try to get in that gap. But then he's going to see the window close. He's going to anticipate the cut of Jones to the outside right and watch that change. It. Like, look at that fall.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's not only to just like change your direction, but the way he explodes, I guess it's kind of the same thing. But I mean, it doesn't even look real. It looks like he's sped up and nobody else is.
Yeah. So, yeah, just a ridiculous ability to mirror the running back and have vision like the back and detect clean windows and get through them, get to the perimeter. He's pretty nice as a run defender.
Yeah, I think Cooper's run defense is his bread and butter, but when you have that type of speed and ability to like shoot through gaps, I think obviously you're going to be a weapon as a blitzer as well. And particularly this play, he's going to be on a stunt. He starts this basically on the outside shoulder of the center from where he's going to go, and he's able to loop all the way around, beat the guard, and get the sack here. I don't think there's many guys who would be able to cover that amount of ground as quickly as he did. And I don't think there's many offensive lines who could deal with a linebacker coming around that far and making a play.
Yeah, they use him on stunts all the time, 3rd and long. Get kind of that overload front like you see here, 3 on one side and then a featured rusher on the other. And then you add Cooper to the equation. It's like 4 on 3, like they're on the power play on one side of the line. And it's just really, really, really hard to get Cooper blocked because he is so violent coming downhill. He doesn't have a lot of moves. He's not like a Jalen Walker who is like legitimately going to like lock his arms out and then pull you or swim you or something like that. It's just like pure rage.
No, he's
getting downhill.
He's an off-ball linebacker for sure. But I think you can still use a guy like that, of course, and here they do. And by the time they really think, I mean, you can see 75, see something is up right before the play starts, and sorry, buddy, it's too late.
Yeah, it technically is 4 on 4 with the slide, but it just doesn't matter. They can't pass it off in such a tight space with Cooper moving that fast. And
no.
Yeah. I think the craziest thing about this play, if you watch 52 is closer to the ball on that play. And like pre-snap, he's closer to the ball. And he basically gets there not even sooner. He gets there later. Like they both kind of had like equal rush paths as far as, well, I don't even know how to describe kind of what they were facing, but like they kind of, it's very similar, like the attack that they were facing from the blockers, and Cooper got there faster despite being 5 yards off the ball.
Yeah, he's ridiculously quick.
Here I feel like is another good example of him doing a good job reading what the running back is doing and just changing direction. Benson's trying to bounce this outside. And I think he saw Cooper flash in the B gap earlier, so he doesn't want to go there. By the time he tries to stop, he can't really make that cut in the same way that Cooper can make that cut, and he's able to get back. And it's a tackle for 1 yard. He does that type of stuff all the time, and I think he's just got a great combination where even though he's a lighter guy, I think he's listed at like 230 or 225 at some places. It doesn't really make a difference. He's able to be a really big threat in the run game because it's hard to get hands on him and because he can make such quick decisions. But I think outside of that, you had a lot of what I wanted to talk about covered, Theo.
So this will be the one coverage rep that we look at for this film breakdown, since it's been mostly run defense. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, I think this is the first time they matched up not in the wild card game. So you're going to see this release kind of up the seam from the tight end, and he's able to run with it. And that's on its own is pretty good. But I think what really makes that play so interesting for me is that he bites on the play action, is on his heels at this point, and is still able to kind of open his hips, turn, and run with a guy who is already like running at near full speed, getting into his route, and he's just unfazed by the rip from the arm and just is easily able to run with this guy. And that really does force the incompletion in some aspect, because you can see like AJ Brown isn't clear yet for Jalen. Devonta Smith clearly isn't going to be in frame for him to throw to yet. And this guy's completely smothered. So the only option is Goddard, who obviously that pass gets tipped. So him being able to be off balance and easily be able to recover and run with that, it just speaks to his change of direction that you guys have already mentioned a million times over. But it really is special for him to be able to have such great control over his weight. So I really like that play. Here's the other angle of it too, because I think it looks even crazier from there.
He might be running the wrong assignment though. There, you might want him to spot drop and cap AJ Brown.
I was thinking the same thing. He might have been in the wrong spot there.
I'm thinking. I don't know if AJ Brown he does clear.
Well, AJ Brown did clear there, right? And at this point, it's like, well, if Hurts sees that, sure. But I do also wonder, like, okay, if he sits with AJ Brown, I feel like because he's also trying to sit underneath. Hurts would probably be able to kind of layer this throw at like the 45-yard line, as opposed to this throw is, I think, a little bit harder because you have to throw kind of over these, and you have like that to me is a harder throw to layer than it would be if he sat here and you have this area over here to kind of fit that into. But I was thinking kind of the same thing. Maybe he did go.
He's the only one not with eyes on Hurts right now, but it ended up being good. And you see the movement skills to match people.
Another example maybe of a wrong process, but he got the right result. You got the right result anyway. Since you didn't want to show it, Theo, I will show just more. This actually, I think, is a different speed play than what you were showing against Minnesota. He's lined up on the far hash, or like a yard inside of the far hash. It is a pitch play to the right with lead blockers everywhere. He is cutting underneath blockers, which in a lot of situations, this is considered like horrific process. Like you are going to get, your angle is going to get burned in every way possible against most players, but he is the fastest guy to the ball, even though he's the only one fighting underneath blockers. It's just absolutely insane.
That would definitely be one of my notes with him, is take better angles. He goes underneath blocks that he shouldn't sometimes, but sometimes you see why he does it, because he's such a freak athlete that he can make his angle more severe and still close the ground. I mean, left tackle is trying to get him blocked here and doesn't even, like, this is the most comical one of all. Like he cannot even come within yards of Cooper, left tackle here.
No, it's insane. He's not even close, man.
Not even
74.
Close.
Yeah, he's not even close. And that's the thing with a lot of these plays, is so often you're like, oh, well, he was just untouched to the runner. And I'm like, oh, but that's just because he's the fastest guy on the field, it feels like. All right, so Pollard motioned into the backfield here, little pistol set. You got Cooper over the A gap, is kind of following this tight end here as, you know, the defense just kind of shifts its alignment. And it's pretty much just zone straight down, and he's just literally mirroring Pollard's cuts like as they happen. It's I just don't see linebackers, or at least many linebackers, be able to move at the exact same time as the runner. It's just like you mentioned, running backs not being able to make the cut at the same way that he is, but it's just the fact that he's able to just keep his shoulders so square, shift his weight so effortlessly to track these runners down. I know it's not, you know, Saquon, but it's still just crazy that he's able to kind of be in those spots all the time.
Yeah, he's got that running back vision. His window is muddy. I'm going to fall back, and he's just got so much range when he does fall back, and ability to stop as well once he's falling back. If it's like a zigzag, it doesn't matter what path the running back takes. He's going to be right there.
And this is like, you can see, like he's already like kind of cutting at this point. You can see like his lower body is shifted this way, but his upper body is shifted this way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just always contorting his weight to keep square.
Yeah, and there's a gap, like Van Ness has the edge, and then there's, I assume, a B gap between Van Ness and Wyatt that's open, and that's really his gap.
Yeah.
But because he sees Wyatt close it and do some damage up front, he's like, well, that is really what I'm responsible for, but it's no longer needed, so we're all good, and we can go make a play.
One of the other plays that I had that I didn't show was him doing the exact same thing. And there was another play that I didn't record, but it was against the Saints, where oftentimes the second that his gap closes, somebody else gets like, you know, enough of a push to seal that off. He's willing to fly down and make a play. And again, I guess maybe that is gambling to some extent, but I thought he won those gambles way more often than he lost them.
Yeah, and it's you know what Theo says about the running back vision. I mean, the running back sees the same thing. If the gap closes, why run through it? You know, so he's just picking the next open gap, and the running back picks the same one. So, but maybe it would have been better for Pollard to bounce this outside. I don't know. I don't have the other angle of this, but
Van Ness. The Packers got really good edge setters. We cannot rush the passer for shit, but Gary and Van Ness will set the damn edge.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
So they got to make themselves useful somehow. So yeah, really good run defense overall from the Packers front. Cooper, a huge part of that. I'm excited to see more from him next year.
There was one play that I was watching where Cooper made a really good play, and I didn't record this, where Quay Walker got kind of bullied, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. It's, I think, more Cooper than it might be Walker, but Quay Walker's a good player too.
Cooper's better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to be nice to you, man. You know?
Theo, where would you rank Cooper among linebackers?
I mean, he's one of the very few like good ones. I mean, who are the good ones? It's Fred Warner, it's Roquan, it's like Matt Milano, Levante David.
Mm-hmm. You're missing the one in Miami, used to be in Seattle.
Brooks is good.
Yeah.
But he's about where like Brooks is, I'd say. Like he's pretty ridiculous. Brooks is better in coverage though. I don't know. I do think that Cooper's knocking on the door of top 10. I don't think he's top 5, but I'll say he's knocking on the door of top 10.
I'm excited to see where he goes year 2. I feel like linebacker is a tough position to learn and to play at the NFL level. And, you know, we talk about him as somebody, I guess, who's deciding when to be aggressive and when not to. I feel like the more reps you get, you'll see him just start to be someone who's just making extraordinary plays and never guessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I'd like to see him be even more physical than he is. I think he could lower his pad level when taking on like blocks. Just generally, he could play a bit more under control. He might be on the ground a lot, especially as a blitzer. Like he's just he's absolutely flying, right? So he can kind of.
I saw one play where he just completely slipped out of his break. I was like,
yeah, he'll slip, he'll fall down. So I'd like to see him play a little bit more within himself without losing that edge that he's got to get downhill. But yeah, he's going to be really good.
All right, on the verge of top 10. Just say he's top 10, man. How many people are going to check you on that?
Campbell is better on the Lions, but I don't think I'd take any other NFC North linebacker besides Campbell over him. TJ Edwards is pretty good. I like TJ Edwards, but
I was about to ask Edmonds.
Edmonds and Edwards are both like pretty good, but I think I'd take Cooper over both of them, but not Jack Campbell.
That's fair enough.
Ivan Pace, also close. I like Ivan Pace.
You're missing one other linebacker, Theo.
Cashman is also good. I guess there are a lot of good ones, but
there are, you know, I see your vision. I think it's almost a wee too early to really go with the linebacker rankings. I want to see how he develops in the year 2. Maybe that's kind of a cop out though. I think it's fair to say that somebody who's as impactful in the run game as him is a plus linebacker. And if you're like a big plus, you know, with like where linebacker is in the league, you could be sniffing top 10.
Yeah, I mean, 17 tackles for loss. I bet that's near or at the top of all off the ball linebackers. So
I mean, the only reason
JOK
Jeremiah Wusu.
Yeah.
The only reason he wouldn't be up there is because he was hurt last year.
That's true. That's true.
He might be even better at that downhill exploding through gap stuff than Cooper is.
He might not be better at mirroring and making plays side to side.
He might not be better at that. I will give you that. But as far as shooting gaps and blowing people up in the backfield, hard to find someone better at it than JOK. But thank you all so much for tuning in to this film breakdown of Packers linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. We will be doing more of these, as well as more videos like the one we did on the Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow debate. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content like all of this. And until next time, as always, from your 3 favorite fellas here at Stay Hot, we will catch you on the flippity flop.